97.1 Double Q with Nirvana. And a good Monday morning to you. It's the Rock Block. I'm the Z-Man, and as promised in the studios this morning, I have with me Mr. Jammin. James, how you doing, Jammin?
Wow! I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. It's a pleasure to be here. Pleasure
pain
to be
and
here.
pleasure.
That's right. Pain and pleasure, baby.
Yeah, I wanted to tell everyone that the new Rod Zimmerman podcast will launch today. And I think we got the bugs worked out, and I thought, who do I want to be my first guest? And it was a no-brainer. It was you, and I thank you so much for accepting the invitation and coming in.
Hey, man, the pleasure is all mine. Always wanted to check out 97.1. It is the rock station of South Central Kentucky.
Yeah.
To me, all of Kentucky.
Yeah.
Beautiful Lake Cumberland, beautiful people. Pleasure to be here.
All right, man. We got Quiet Riot, Skinner, and REM coming up. Stick around. Double Q. 97.1 Double Q with Leonard Skinner. I'm the Z-Man. It's the Rock Block. In the studios, Mr. Jammin James.
Hey, all right.
Man, Pain and Pleasure. How long the band been around?
Pain and Pleasure's been around since the early 80s.
Wow.
Mid 80s.
Yeah.
You know, it was a growing up thing. And actually, one of the greatest things that ever happened to Pain and Pleasure was in the middle of the 2000s, 2005 to 2008. I got to be in a three-piece rock band with my two sons,
How
Preston
cool.
and Jesse.
Yeah.
Man, it was awesome.
I got to see you guys at Shamrock back in 2008.
What a great
show,
time,
man.
man. As a matter of fact, your band was there too, and man, did we pack the house. Was that a good time?
That
or
was,
what?
that was bad to the bone. I had a good time. We'll be talking more about Pain and Pleasure and Jammin James. Right now, it's REM Double Q. 97.1 Double Q with the Police on the Monday morning. I'm the Z-Man. It's the Rock Block. In the studio is Jammin James. How's it going, Jammin?
We still rocking, brother.
That's right, man. And I want to thank you so much for the invitation that you extended to me last year and the trust you put in me to keep my mouth shut about it. You're a big Collective Soul fan.
Oh, yeah, man. Collective Soul rock.
And how many people have favorite bands and have the clout you do to say, I think I'm going to throw a party and I'm going to invite my favorite band, and they showed up.
That's right,
Big
man.
Chunk did, yeah.
Boy, wasn't that a good time?
Oh, man.
Man, very blessed to be in the music scene, to know some people and know a lot of artists and everything. And, always wanted to throw a little get-together, and the next thing you know, boom, it ends up being one of them big parties.
Yeah.
And you end up having members of Collective Soul. And I also had Brandon Gibbs there from the Devil City Angels. He's also the one that replaced Bret Michaels in Poison.
Yeah.
Man, what an entertainer.
We're going to have another party.
Oh, definitely. And who knows who will be there.
Exactly. And also, Pain and Pleasure's got a new tour coming up. We'll talk about that. Forecast, Boston, and Foo Fighters coming up. Double Q. 97.1 Double Q with Boston on this Monday morning. I'm the Z-Man. It's the Rock Block, and Jammin James in the studio. Jammin, tell me about this upcoming tour with Pain and Pleasure.
Well, it's been something in the process for a while. We've had a few setbacks. Had a little spell back in the spring, fell down the side of one of the cliffs here on Cumberland Lake.
Ooh.
Hurt my good arm, so so I'm kind of recovering from that. We got a bunch of stuff that still needs recorded and some tracks to be laid.
Right.
We're back and forth with a local studio, Battle Cry Records, and we're back and forth in Dayton, Ohio with Aztec Records.
Awesome.
So, we're still putting things together. We got a lot of, since that little get-together last year, we got a lot of people that's wanting to rock and roll here on Lake Cumberland.
That's right. Well, you're the man to bring it. It's Foo Fighters, Double Q. 97.1 Double Q with Peter Gabriel. And welcome to the 11 o'clock hour of the Rock Block this Monday morning. I'm the Z-Man in the studio with Mr. Jammin James. How you doing, Jammin?
Oh, man. Yes. Great, man.
And looking forward to the podcast. We're going to do that after we finish up with the show today.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
It's going to be a 20-minute chat about pretty much anything. And the cool thing, you are one of the few people that I have ever invited into my home because full trust. You're an honorable dude. I respect you, and found out that we have a lot of the similar interests, not only in music, but in some of the stranger things in life.
There's a lot of strange things out there.
No
You know, I
doubt.
had coffee this morning with Bigfoot, and he wants to tell everybody hello, and he's live and well.
That's right. And he doesn't stink like they say.
No,
it's just a cover story. A hunter ripped one and blamed it on the foot.
Actually, he's kind of got that 80s look going on,
Yeah,
kind of like
yeah.
me. He wears Old Spice and Right Guard, so that's kind of what he
yeah.
smells like. You know?
And even if it starts coming off the top, he's got enough down the back to where he can comb it forward.
That's right. That's right.
Stick around. I got Blue Oyster Cult and some other dudes coming up. Double Q. One of my favorite tunes, Soundgarden, Black Hole Sun, 97.1 Double Q. I'm the Z-Man in the studio with Mr. Jammin James. How you doing, Jammin?
It's great to be here, Rod.
Man,
Great to be here. Lake Cumberland is so beautiful. The people are beautiful. You know, the music is beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. And you are one blessed dude because very fortunate, very thankful to have been invited to your digs. And first of all, you've got a magnificent spread. It's like an adult Disneyland because anything I can think of, you have right there in what I call Fort James. It's bad to the bone. And what I thought was kind of cool is you have some walking trails. You have some what are they called? Four-wheelers, off-road vehicle trails. And one even had what was the welcome Bigfoot sign or beware Bigfoot?
Stay on the trails.
Yeah, stay on the
because of
trails.
all the Bigfoot sightings here on Cumberland Lake.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Fort James is a place where I don't have to leave and go anywhere. The beauty of everything's there. We got a cave on the property. There's trails for the grandkids to enjoy nature.
Lake Cumberland right there in your backyard,
Right.
literally.
Yeah, exactly. I got the main lake on one side and Wolf Creek on the other.
Wow.
So, and it's just within a hop, skip, and jump. So,
Yeah.
awesome place. Awesome place.
It is definitely not a place where dreams go to die. That's for sure.
There you go.
It's Queen and David Bowie, Double Q. 97.1 Double Q with Van Halen on this Monday morning. I'm the Z-Man. It's the Rock Block in the studios with Jammin James. How you doing, Jammin?
We're still rocking, Rod.
That's right, man. And, we kind of touched on it earlier, but conspiracy theories.
Mm-hmm.
This is where the line is drawn in the sand. I've lost a lot of friends over the things that I think, things that I believe in, and it was refreshing that I could kind of open up that can of worms with you, and you dove right in there with me.
Oh, very, very interesting
We
stuff.
question things.
That's right.
We
And
question.
and you should question
Yeah,
things.
absolutely.
You got to question authority. You got to question everything that's telling, the as is telling
Right.
you what to do.
Yeah, well,
You know?
the thing that I have learned, and it's probably no secret to a lot of people, but maybe it's eye-opening to others, is when there's a big boom over here that's drawing attention, you need to look the opposite direction
Oh, exactly.
because
exactly.
that's a smokescreen sometimes.
Sure, man. Looks are deceiving,
Ooh,
folks.
Indeed. Stick around with more conversation with Jammin James. Forecast Pink Floyd coming up, Double Q. 97.1 Double Q with Pink Floyd. Drain Damage Eclipse on Double Q. I'm the Z-Man. It's the Rock Block. Talking with Jammin James, and you are like you're like a Renaissance man. There's nothing you don't do and do well, and now you're getting ready to get off on another venture. Tell us about the prospect of hemp farming.
Well, that is true. I have took partnership with 4 other people. Like to give a shout out to Fallbush Pharma, Garnet, Tammy, Sharon, Luke. We are trying to jump aboard with what everybody else is trying to get their hands into.
Yeah.
And that's help the American farmer out, help the economy out, keep everything globally green,
Yeah.
get away from the old hard fossil fuels and everything. And I believe that there's cures and just actually saving the planet by jumping on Team Hemp.
And we will see how that goes. You said that there's like 1,200 available licenses or whatever it's called to do that? Or?
The state of Kentucky issued 1,200 hemp license.
Gotcha.
So,
Gotcha.
Here in Pulaski County, I think there's about 5 to 9 growers.
Right.
There's only 10 counties in Kentucky that is not growing hemp. So it won't be long. Everybody will be on the bandwagon. And like I said, man, this could be the answer to a lot of things. Medicines, clothing. Even went to a seminar one time where I saw concrete, you know, being made out of hemp.
Yeah.
You know.
We'll go into a deeper discussion about that on our podcast coming up later today. So be sure to tune into that right now. Tune into this Pearl Jam, Double Q. 97.1 Double Q with Faith No More. And welcome to the Somerset Family Dentistry Rock Lunch. I'm the Z-Man in the studio with Jammin James. How you doing, Jammin?
We rocking.
Yeah, boy. What's going on now? You like to share with the masses. What's going on with Pain and Pleasure? What's going on in the world of jamming?
Well, Pain and Pleasure is working on songs right now. Of course, that's my rock band that I've been in since the 80s. Since the 80s, back when we were down with the ladies. And my things have changed.
Oh, man.
But
where did the down boys go?
Yeah, exactly.
They fell down. They can't get back up.
Fell hard.
Yeah.
But, you know, we was talking about what we're going to talk on the podcast earlier about, you know, the little get-together I had with Collective Soul and Brandon Gibbs and everybody showing up and how everything turned into a massive rock party. And, you know, if you have a massive rock party, when you would go to something like that or a rock show, you got to walk out with a T-shirt showing that you had been there. Yeah. And I want to give a shout out to Chris, Leah, and Lewis of American Screen Printing. They do excellent work for Pain and Pleasure, and they're real good friends, and they're also local rockers, too, the Vibralos. I want to give a shout out to them.
All right. Talk more with Jammin James. Stick around. Got REM, The Who, and U2 coming up. Double Q. 97.1 Double Q with The Who on your Somerset Family Dentistry Rock Lunch. Good afternoon. It's the Rock Block. I'm the Z-Man Tago and Jammin James. How's it going?
Couldn't even be better. This is awesome.
Okay, we've been talking about your musical life and everything, but tell us about your construction life. I mean, is there anything you haven't built?
Well, right now I'm working on I've been remodeling a train caboose for a friend of mine here in the Braunston community. And I'd like to give a big shout out to CMP Marines, Sandy, Dwight, Heather. Yins are all good people, and they also help Jammin out when he wants to relax on the lake with, you know, a nice boat and everything.
Oh, wow.
So, you know,
a good relationship.
Right. And, you know, I've also done some work with Builder Bob from Big Deck Construction.
Builder Bob, I've given shout-outs to him.
Boy, you talking about a character. You know, I just have him along just for
entertainment.
Exactly. You know, his work is good, but his entertainment is priceless. I get my money's worth there.
There you go. Aerosmith autograph coming up right now. It's U2 Double Q. 97.1 Double Q with autograph. It's your Somerset Family Dentistry Rock Lunch. I'm the Z-Man. Your next shot at $1,000 coming up at the top of the hour. Be listening for your cue to text to win. In the studios with Jammin James. How's the family?
The family's doing good.
Expanding, I hear?
Oh, yeah. I got a grandbaby on the way to my son Preston and Charlene, and that'll make about 7 grandkids. I'm going to give a shout-out to them. Austin, Natalie, Cece, Carson, Connor, Cameron, and Chloe. I want to give a shout-out to you all, and Jesse James and his wife Sam, and my son Max, who has struggled in this senior year of his with a torn up knee. He's had several knee surgeries. Very, very brave child. Proud of you, Max. You know, you could be bummed out, and you're kind of taking things with stride, and your dad's proud of you, buddy.
All right. Sounds great. Stick around. We got some more rockin' stuff to talk about with Jammin James. The forecast, Beatles and Red Hot Chili Peppers coming up. Double Q. 97.1 Double Q with the Beatles on your Somerset Family Dentistry Rock Lunch. Good afternoon. I'm the Z-Man. Hanging with Jammin James in the studio. Got some folks you want to give a shout out to?
I sure do. I want to give a shout out to our local law enforcement and our first responders. I got a buddy, Chase Chewy Shepherd, on the fire department. Wonderful guy, also a fellow musician.
Yeah, he's a heck of a picker.
Sure is. And my son Preston did EMS for several years, saved several lives. You can never give them enough thanks. I also want to give a shout out to the vets who give us this freedom where we can get on the radio and say what we almost say what we want. Give a shout out to the 21 Strong Veterans too, an organization that's fighting for the cause.
Sounds great. It's Red Hot Chili Peppers Double Q. 97.1 Double Q with Van Halen, and welcome to the 1 o'clock hour of the Rock Block this Monday afternoon. I'm the Z-Man, sitting in with Jammin James. Jammin, who was your earliest influence musically?
Well, Eddie Van Halen changed my life.
Yeah.
I'm glad we just come after Van Halen there. I was always a John Denver fan. Yeah. And, of course, I got into the Kiss Army growing up. Everybody loved Kiss because it was so different. The music was like, what the... But when you heard Eddie Van Halen, I mean, he just took that guitar, and, of course, a lot of my Jammin' John James licks, I don't want to say I've stole Eddie Van...
He's really influenced.
He's really influenced. Yeah. He's really influenced me. And, I want to give Ray Gillen as far as vocals went. I loved him. Yeah. And awesome. Diehard Ozzy fan. So, Ozzy, if you're listening out there worldwide, man... best of luck. Hope you get well, and thank you so much for the music. Not a bad song ever written.
That's true. Stick around. I got Leonard Skinner, Metallica, and more with Jammin James. Double Q. 97.1 Double Q with Metallica on this Monday afternoon. I'm the Z-Man in with Jammin James. Pain and Pleasure. They've been around since the early mid-'80s. And you guys have gone through some changes as far as, but you've been the constant. Did you ever drop out for a while and then come back, or has it always been you?
Well, I took a little turn in the family aspects in the early to mid '90s. Right. Then when I got back into the scene, I didn't have no members, so I had children. Right. So we formed them into little rock stars. Yeah. And my son Preston's been playing since he was 8 years old. Jesse, don't play with me anymore. Right. Jesse, please come back. This is Dad talking to you.
You're too good of a bass player not to do it, man. He just didn't get the bug. Right?
Well, I kind of burned him out a little bit. And I do want to say that I do have my buddy Kenny Ferentz out at Wilmington, Ohio. I played with back in the 80s. He's my bass player right now. Yeah. He's excellent at he's a good singer. He's a good bass player. He's a good songwriter. And I want to give a shout out to Mark Frank's Enterprises, Mark Frank's, whenever Pain and Pleasure needs that little extra help or this, that, and the other, my buddy Mark Franks is always there. Getting back to the work ethics around here, I want to give a shout out to Lumber King. I want to give a shout out to Rich and Yvonne at Lowe's. I also want to say, hey, good morning to the girls at Harris Grocery.
Well, it's good afternoon, really. Well, good morning, good afternoon.
When you're a rock star, you kind of lose track of
day
everything.
and night. It's all flip flop.
I think I'm a time traveler. I can't even tell you what happened to January and February.
Who? Blue Oyster Cult, Double Q. 97.1 Double Q with AC/DC Money Talks. And you know what, Walks? What we're doing today. I'm the Z-Man in the studio with Mr. Jammin James. And I have to admit, I don't consider myself a guitar collector. I just like getting guitars that I like, and then I have a hard time letting go of them. So it becomes a collection. But, man, I got to check out your collection one time back when we went out way in this I don't even know what you would call it. It's like a warehouse out in this very secluded place in Kansas, and I could not believe it. I thought, okay, we're at a factory. It's like, no, man, this is my collection. Do you have a running total right now as to how many guitars you really have, and then you have the list of the guitars you've told your wife you have?
I love that part.
Yeah, I have 6. Okay, now how many do you really have? 112.
Well, we can't really discuss that because she might be listening.
Oh yeah. So how about let's just what is at the moment? What's your favorite guitar that you own?
Well, I've always been a shredder person. I love Kramer's, Ibanez's, Jackson's and stuff like that. And I'm a Wolfgang fanatic. Oh, yeah. And right now, I just talked to Joe Corsha last week. He's a luthier, and he's got this line of guitars that he's named after his son Sefton. And we've been kind of discussing back and forth a Jammin John James guitar.
Wow.
That would be very, very cool.
A signature guitar.
Right.
How cool is
that?
My
wife says that with this guitar addiction that I have, I could probably be living in a real nice mansion up on the hill. But you know what? I'd rather come home and rock and roll.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, it's a sickness that there's no cure for.
Absolutely not.
And if I could find the cure, I'm not sure I'd take it.
No, I definitely wouldn't. Why give up such a good thing?
Well, it's what they say, that people never, ever are cured of an addiction. You just shift it to something else. Well, and I think being addicted to collecting guitars is a healthy addiction.
It sure is, except for you might have to cut out on maybe some grocery money,
yeah.
Right?
Gas money.
I'm sorry to the local electric company. I'm going to be a little bit late this month.
Here's a guitar that should get me through to the next.
At least let me play you a song.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Forecast: Led Zeppelin Sublime coming up. Double Q 97.1 Double Q with Led Zeppelin on this Monday
Jammin
afternoon.
John James.
Yeah, it's Jammin John
I've rated
James.
97.1.
Yeah, and this is Sublime with Santidia.
Love it. My son Jesse loved them.
Well, he's going to love this. 97.1 Double Q with Allison Chains on a Monday afternoon. It's the Rock Block. Welcome to the 2 o'clock hour in the studio with Jammin James.
Honor to be here. Honor to be here.
It's a great pleasure and honor to have you here. And you're going to be our first guest for the very first episode of the Rod Zimmerman podcast, which we will be doing later today, and hopefully have that posted and ready for everyone to hear later in the day, if not at the latest tomorrow morning. So,
man, that is going to be awesome. Looking so forward to that. Social media really helps things out.
Yeah.
And I went to a party I want to give a shout out to the Urbana girls, Mary and Marge and the gang. I went up to a party this weekend in Ohio. And I get up there, and everybody's talking about this podcast where they had seen this, that, and the other. And, of course, I seen when I got back, because I wasn't on social media at the time, I seen where a lot of things got blowed up. People, wanting some info, how they can hear it, and this, that, and the other. And, man, it's just great that there's a lot of curiosity out there.
We will have it, once I get it up and posted and everything, you can see it at 971doubleq.com. Click blogs, click Z-Man. It'll be there as well as on our Facebook page.
Now, my wonderful wife, Debbie, I love her to death. She told me.
Awesome.
Yeah, she told me. As a matter of fact, I love you, baby. I wanted to throw that in there.
You talking to me or you talking to you?
Well, shoe fits, wear it, right?
Because I'm getting a little verklempt, I'll tell you.
It is getting a little warm in here. She did tell me, she said, John, whatever you do, remember, you got grandbabies.
Yeah.
So watch what you say.
Exactly, because what's said on the air stays on the air. Stays on the podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, we got Rush, Stones, Phil Collins coming up. Double Q, 97.1 Double Q with the Stones on a Monday afternoon. It's the Rock Block. I'm the Z-Man in the studio with Jammin James. And Jammin, I have to say, you have a lot of fans and a lot of supporters, but I haven't met anyone that's as publicly a horn tooter, you might say, of you as your sisters.
You ain't a kid. Now,
very proud of the brother.
Well, yeah. Well, I was born in the middle, so yeah, I'm so
that explains a lot,
Right, it sure does. A middle child, and the only boy in the family. Ooh. Yeah, my older sister Jamie. I want to give a shout out her and Rick up there in Cedarville, Ohio, outside Wilberforce there. My sister Tater's who he's talking about. I want to give a shout out to Tater out there who always listens to 97.1. Larissa and Spuddy, her kids, that's my niece and nephew. I should say Jonathan. That's his nickname is Spuddy, and he'll probably hate me after that. But you always be Spud Muffin. And
that's right.
Larissa, I love you. You're like a daughter that I never had. I always had boys. Oh, except for my two stepdaughters.
There you go.
I do want to say hello to them too, Candace and Selena. Give a shout out to them here. They're locals here on the lake.
Yep. We got some Phil Collins. It's in the air tonight. Smell it?
Oh, yeah. That's
97.1 Double Q with Tesla.
love Tesla.
Monday afternoon. I'm the Z-Man in with Jammin James. We were discussing we should start a Tesla cover band.
You ain't kidding.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
That would be awesome. I'd love to play their first album.
Yeah, from stem to stern.
You ain't a kidding.
That's it.
That album played a big influence on me in life, and still a good band to go see.
Oh yeah.
They're missing one guitar player.
Right.
And, they've replaced him, but
it happens.
Yeah, it sure does.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep anything together for a long period of time.
Plus, Jammin, the older we get, people are starting to just die from natural causes.
Very, very, very scary.
We don't know what happened to him. He was only 89.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was talking earlier, man, we all might be just time travelers because before you know it, you're not wanting to look in the mirror anymore,
Well, what I see in the mirror is not what everyone else does.
I'm seeing my dad.
Yeah. I'm hearing my grandfather. I'll sneeze or cough or laugh, and it's like, wow.
Well, you do that because of what happens after you sneeze.
Yeah. I'm smelling my grandfather, too. Forecast and Kiss coming up, Double Q. 97.1 Double Q with Kiss on a Monday afternoon. It's the Rock Block. I'm the Z-Man. And we want to thank Jammin James for being in the studio. Fire it up, man. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Thanks, Jammin, for stopping by.
It was a pleasure being here, Rod.
Hey, man, stick around. We'll do the podcast. Everybody else, it's Pearl Jam, Double Q.
Waiting, watching the clock, it's